Anyway, we're live.
We're
So
live.
so good afternoon, everybody. Uh, in the real world watching this today, I have a special treat. Kayleen, thank you so much for being brave and just on the quick to say yes and like just log on with me. And
Of
I put
course.
together these questions. And I'm happy to go. Thank you so much for being here. So one thing I never introduce people because like I don't know how people like to be introduced. So tell me about yourself. How do you introduce yourself when you're talking with new people? What do
I
you
love
who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
I love that question. And I love the well, one, Mike, thanks for having me. Obviously, I'm a fan of yours and I've known you for like almost 6 years now, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
Or maybe
Yeah.
5. But no, I love the opportunity to introduce myself. I mean, I'm Kayleen Duffy. I obviously live in New York City. That's how I know you. I was born in Ohio, raised in Atlanta. I like claiming those two places, but I always like describing myself as a current athlete that played college sports, a sister, a daughter, a Christian, a friend, um, someone that's in technology sales. But I think something I like to claim the most is I'm someone that's deeply curious.
That's fair. I love that answer. Yeah. I think you and I are almost kind of like birds of a feather, right? Like we're always asking questions. We're always on this quest, this journey, right? Like that's how you challenge yourself. And yeah, that's how that's how we met. In fact, right, like I the way I met you was through the gym, and I was helping you train for a charity boxing match, right? And then after that, like a lot of people when they do that one time fight, they usually quit, right? Like, but you, even though you won, you still kept at it. You were dogging it and doing it, right? And then I met you more through your training through the marathon, right? Like, so what is it about doing difficult things, right? Finding these challenges, doing these quests that appeals to you, that calls to you?
Yeah. I was excited about this question. I actually was talking to Malik in the gym about this the other day.
Love
I
Malik.
feel
Malik,
like
what up?
I feel like there's many reasons people maybe choose to do hard things. I think the one thing I'll answer initially, like I love the ability to control what your heart is, right? I think life
Okay.
is inherently hard, but if I get to choose physically exhausting events, I think it only benefits your brain. And there's actually someone I follow that I admire. It's this guy named Jesse Itzler. He used to train with David Goggins. He's like kind of a crazy guy. Mike, I actually think you kind of have similar energy. It's like, why the hell would I not just try hard shit? And like, I think about you, you're a dad, you train like 700 people a day, you're always working out, like, you just kind of have that energy. But I think that, and this guy Jesse talks about this a lot. It's like if you sign up for one really hard thing a year, and he uses this Japanese term called a masoji. It's like
I've
doing
never
hard.
heard of this.
Oh my god, it's I'm like studying it more, but basically it's like the harder things that you do, the more capacity you have for life, which is inherently hard, right? Like you
Right.
think about it, Mike, like you've got children, it's like raising kids, the finances around kids, and I'm not in that life stage yet, but it's like with aging parents, world dynamics. Anyways, my whole point is like if you get to choose your hard, I think it only just expands your capacity for life. And like Mike, I think about it, my marathon training is like way harder than I thought. Like I was like,
Right.
I know how to run, I'm not learning something new. It's like 10 times harder than I thought, but it's like I don't know, now something pops up during the day that feels hard, or it's like I don't know, kind of bring it on. Like
Right. Right. So I totally agree. I'm kind of the same way. I think that's what's attracted
I
me
know
to
you
all of
are.
these, all these marathons and triathlons, and I mean even in challenging myself with school, right? Like things that are like
100%.
and like how you said it, being a father, being married, like managing work, managing, the balancing your life, all that stuff but like what's one thing through doing these hard things that you didn't know about yourself that you learned about yourself? Like what's the greatest thing that you've learned about yourself or discovered about yourself? Like maybe you knew it, but you didn't know it was true until you did it.
Um, I mean, like 10 things. I was thinking about how I wanted to answer this. I've always known I've been tough, like, but I think what I've learned is I'm way tougher than I thought. I'm way more resilient than I thought. I think those are the two things maybe I've learned about myself, but I think the maybe overarching theme that I love telling friends and family and anyone who wants to ask about why I do hard shit is like also consistency and committing to yourself
Right.
builds such confidence. Like I was actually voice noting a friend this morning, Mike. I'm like kind of dealing with some knee stuff and I'm doing PT. Basically, it's knee stuff that I can't hurt. It's like arthritis from playing soccer. It's not that
Sure.
bad.
Sure.
But like running doesn't feel that freaking great right now. And but it like there's nothing I can do to hurt it. There's all I can do is ice it and do PT. But it's just like the consistency and the commitment to myself. I went on a 45-minute run this morning after PT and again it's like you can't tell me shit now. Like,
Right.
it's
Right.
like
Right.
I've
Right.
committed to myself. And I think that's like the biggest gift you can. I think another thing I've learned, it's like what a gift it is to give yourself to commit to something. And Mike,
Right.
to your point, like I've admired what you do. Again, like I feel like your whole running journey, triathlons, all that stuff. But like what you're doing with school, it's like, what confidence does that build? It's like I'm putting myself through more school as a dad, a husband, an employee. So that wasn't as succinct as I would want it, but I think it's resilience. It's I'm tougher than I thought, but I think the overarching theme is like if you commit to hard stuff, the confidence that you build from that and the reminder that consistency can change your life, like that's what I would say.
Right. Wow. You answered about three questions that on the answer. The answer was great, right? Because it's just like even without saying it, right? And it's like, yes, I said you've won your fights, right? And you've completed all the races that you set out to run and race, right? But it's just like you don't win everything all the time, right? Like you're not gonna be number one or whatever, or like, or even though they raise your hand, you may still not might be the winner. So you've learned so much through losing, right? Like and like it's teaching you when life slams one door in your face, you have to find another, or make a window, or dig underneath a gate, or whatever, you know. So it's just like through training, you have to find other ways to keep going. You know,
I
yeah,
agree.
I love that answer. The answer was great. You know, so you went from being an athlete. I mean, you still are an athlete, and now you built this amazing career that you have, right? Like, what parts of your competitiveness did you bring from your athleticism and your athletic career into your work life?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, um, I mean, I know you do this with your kids, like the sports, and they see their dad train. Like, I think learning sports as a young kid, like, there's no one else I can thank, well, myself, but like my parents for exposing me to sports because I don't know what I would be without sports. So I'll preface it with that, but I think that I mean, sports and competitiveness is like the only reason I think that I've been good in my career. I think it's
Right,
the only reason I've been able to have a career and do the podcast and do physical challenges and be a good family member and be a good friend. But I think it's interesting. I think, especially playing a team sport,
I was gonna head there. Yeah,
yeah, but I think with team sports, and there's nothing against individual sports, but I think team sports made me a really good teammate, but made me incredibly competitive with myself, right?
right,
You're on a team. I'm not competing with someone like I was a center back in college. I'm not competing with a forward in practice. We're totally different players. But
right.
who I was competitive with was myself because I wanted to be a better teammate. I wanted to be better for the University of Alabama. I wanted to be better for my coach. And I think how that's transferred over to my career. like, yes, I'm in sales, so like you see a scoreboard and you're like, shit, so and so's beating me in revenue. But at the end of the day, I'm like, how can I be a better employee?
Right.
How can I be a better mentor? So to me, it's like sports
Better
made me
teammate. That's right.
100%, but sports to me made me like, again, I even think about the side quests I do. It's like I have one life. I'm going to be competitive as hell with myself to make sure that I squeeze every ounce of opportunity out of this life. Like, again, Mike, it's like you're doing the school thing, you're doing talks at schools, you're now doing Substack. It's like there's so many opportunities now in life to create for yourself, create success, create, financial freedom, create opportunities for your kids. It's like if you're aware and competitive enough with yourself, go get it.
Right. 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 Yeah, and that's 100%. Yeah. And I see how hard you're pushing yourself, right? And you're getting that drive from the sports and stuff. But when you're like hitting it as hard as you are, right? And myself included, right? Because I think like I'm at that point right now. How do you know when to back off the gas a little bit? When not to push yourself so hard? What we're talking about, like now is the
Yeah.
time to get it. How do you know when it's time to back up? When is there
Yeah. I
anything in
mean, no.
sports that you've learned? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I still struggle with this if I'm being honest, but I mean, I think I feel like I pride myself on being self aware. So I think, Mike, if I
Okay.
can feel my nervous system or I'm not sleeping well or I'm feeling overwhelmed, like I now know it does no one good. It does no one good around me. It doesn't do my body good if I keep pushing through that. So I think it's the awareness. Like, I actually think sleep to me is the biggest indicator of like your body's not rested, you're really stressed. And Mike, I think like I really do struggle with rest still. Like, I've been off for 2 weeks before I start a new job. It's like I've not really rested. I'm like, there's all these sites I want to go see in New York that I've ever never seen. It's like, well, who are you trying to prove? But I think that I think something that I've realized, and I've so many mentors have said this, like you sometimes have to slow down to speed up. So, like, I'm not answering this in the
Yeah,
best way,
definitely.
but I saw that question. I'm like, shit, I'm not going to be the best person. But I think that I'm self aware enough to feel if I'm feeling run down. I also think I don't get sick much anymore. If I'm getting sick, it's like, hold up, like something's out of whack. And
Right.
I mean, Mike, this training. It's like you don't train while hurt. You don't train while tired. You don't like, I don't work well tired. And I think that something I've learned that it's okay to say no. It's okay to set a boundary at work of like, I think for my work, sometimes it's like get on a plane and go see this client. It's like,
Right.
Mike, if I'm not rested or if I'm sick, I'm not saying yes to that stuff anymore because it
Yeah.
doesn't do me
And
well.
and, and I think I'm not dating you or anything like that, right? Because you're young. But I think that that's
That's
something that you
nice.
learn. I I think that that's something that you learn with age, right? Because like when you first come on to a job or a new situation, you want to say yes, 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 right? And I think that's like normal and natural for a lot of people on the come up and stuff. But then we're all human, right? Like we all think we're so tough sometimes, or like, yes, I have to say yes. I want to, I want to impress this boss, so I want to impress this client or whatever, right? But it's just like the older you get, the wiser you get, right?
Totally.
And then you realize, wait, I don't have to say. Even though like I am a people pleaser, right? Like I always say yes, 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 right? But like lately, as of lately, like and now I'm dating myself, right? Like, but I'm feeling my age, and I'm like, man, like I got diagnosed with astigmatism a couple weeks ago, right? Like I gotta wear glasses now. Actually, I should be wearing them right now because like I kind of see you blurry, but 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 I'm like, no, I want to look. But you know what I'm saying? With age, right, comes wisdom, and then like you learn. I could be a better producer if I say no, if I'm rested or whatever, But that's something that you learn with age, right? Like when you're
Totally.
young, you just want to say yes all the time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So while you were doing all this hard stuff, right? What scared you the most? And was there ever a time that you were like, why the hell am I doing this? Like what kept you centered and focused to accomplish the goal?
I'm laughing because I was talking to my mom this morning, and this is like a very vulnerable comment, but I will never forget like a month into training for haymakers, I was like, I'd be fine if like I got hurt. like I
Right,
was like, I was like, you know, and I felt this morning I was on a run and I was like, Mom, I'm kind of feeling that same feeling. Like if I tripped and fell and couldn't run the marathon, but it's just crazy. It's like fear is freaking real. So like I was so excited to
sure.
answer this question because I've actually told that to people during haymakers. I was like, this is so dark, Mike, but I was like, I hope like a car could like run over my foot, not deeply hurt me, but I just can't fight. Like
Right,
my
right,
whole
right.
point is like as someone that chases the hell out of this shit, I am still a human being that like this is hard. I have moments of doubt and fear. Um, I think this my answer has changed. If you had asked me this 3 years ago, I think it would have been different. I think Mike, you had asked, we kind of were talking about losing. I think running has been super humbling because you see runners on Instagram. I know what my friends have run marathons in. It has been so humbling to be like, this is not about the time that you finish in. This is your
Sure.
first marathon. This is about the process. But I think in the past, Mike, you sign up for haymakers, you sign up for a marathon. It's like, ooh, if I don't hit my time, if I don't win, this is going to be so embarrassing. I think the real fear now that comes up is disappointing myself, right? Like I said, I'm going to train for a marathon. I'm working with a running coach. I told her I was going to commit to, like, she had to interview me and she was like, can you commit to this? Can you do this? Whatever.
Right,
I think my biggest thing is disappointing myself. Like, I think to your point, as you get older, it's like, and I'm still a human being. I'm in my 30s, so I do still give too many shits about what people think about me. But I think that is lessened a little bit. Like my answer 3 years ago would have been like, oh, it'd be so embarrassing if I lose a fight in front of people at haymakers. But now it's Mike. It's like I don't want to fail myself. I've committed to
right.
this training program, and so I think for me, and this as a part of running, it's also resting, it's recovery, and I suck at
Sure.
that shit. I
Right.
suck at that.
Same.
But anyways, I think for me, it's like my big thing. I think specifically with running, I've had to get over the fear of like your time doesn't matter, and if your time matters to someone, that is a messed up person.
Right,
um,
right,
but yeah, Mike, I think the biggest fear is like disappointing myself. But again, that's why I keep doing this stuff because I think it's like this ripple effect. You see the confidence that you build from, okay, you commit to running a marathon, you do what you said, you finish the marathon no matter what the hell the time is, then you have this new aura of confidence. It's like, why would I not keep doing this stuff, you know?
right, right. I think that answer that you gave is so real, right? And for me, for myself, like I I call it a fear of failure, right?
Yep,
Also like a fear of failing the people who are depending on me, right? Um it's like,
100%.
man, I've raised all this money, right? These people have put their money where my feet are, where my mouth is, like I don't want to let them down, it reminds me like of that quote, like if you think that failure is expensive, wait till you find out the price of regret, right?
Whoa,
I don't want to
that's
live with that
chills.
regret of not completing this feat, this fight, this so like I think we're the same, like
Totally.
in that aspect, yeah.
You know what,
um
Mike? Also, not to derail us, but to that
no, it's
comment,
fine,
like,
we're free, baby.
no, I love it. But to your point though, I think, you asked at the beginning, like, why do I do this hard stuff? And again, this guy that I really admire, his name's Jesse Itzler, and he talks a lot about too, like I like that quote I've never heard. I just got the chills. But like, and this now having kids, I feel like it's so much more real. You only have so many summers until they go to college. And like you and your wife are amazing, but because you haven't I think your daughter's 19 now. At some point they're gonna be like, Mom and
No,
Dad,
23.
oh my God. Well, that's crazy. I've
Yeah,
actually known you
she's
for
a
5 years.
senior in college. It's crazy, like, yeah.
But Mike, you now know with children, it's like time is finite.
Right.
And this guy that I love, he like he's so aggressive about it, but he's like, if I do the math right, I only have 30 summers left. He's like 50 something or
Right.
whatever. But it's like, Mike, it's like, and again, it's, I feel like you do it to an extreme in such an inspiring way. It's like, I'm going to start writing. I'm going to get on Substack. I'm going to go back to school. Like, but you, like, anyways, I just feel like I live of the belief. It's like, I have one life, and this is a super dark comment, but you're not guaranteed the next day. So, Mike, and seriously, I was like, I'll do a marathon when my knees feel better, when this happens. And I had this moment. I'm like, why, what would I be delaying it for? There's no reason. Oops, sorry.
Right. All
Can
right,
you
you're
hear
back.
me?
No worries. Yeah, yeah. I lost you for a second, but it's fine. You're back. And I get the
Sorry.
gist
So
of it. I'm the same way. No, no, no. I mean, if you want to say it again, go ahead and say it again. But I get it. Like, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. And again, like, we live in that world where like we're open to so much information, and there's so many like positive quotes out there, like do it scared. You're never gonna be ready. What are you waiting for? Right? Do it scared, do it broke, do it hungry. I've been of that ilk forever, for forever, yeah. I love that, all right, perfect. I don't want to kind of rush this, but let's talk about who's that one person that you consider like a mentor who like believed in you early in your career that pushed you.
oh man. Um I will tell you, this is cheesy and I feel like I could get emotional. My parents, and I'll answer this from like an actual mentor from a career perspective, but I do feel like my parents, they were both in sales. So they were obviously mentors in their own careers, but I do feel like they just thought I could do anything.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
cheesy at all. Yeah, and that
But
like
yeah, like,
that inspires me. Like, oh man, like I need to like push my kids or whatever. And like I'm like I don't know if you knew this, but like I had a falling out with my daughter where I hadn't spoken with her in like close to a year. And now all of a sudden she's back in my life, and I'm just like, man, I gotta embrace her even more, like and I gotta like help her reach whatever goals it is that she wants to reach, just so we
100%.
can have a beautiful relationship. So yeah, it's not cheesy at all. I want that.
Like, yeah, no, 100%. And I'm glad she's back in your life. That's
Thank
amazing.
you. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think my parents, and then uh, there were two people, one, a woman that was my first boss in technology sales. I had been in sales before, but um, I don't know. She saw something in me. Now you're making me want to text her just to thank her. But she saw
Make sure
something
you
in me.
do.
Yeah, but she saw something. It was really interesting. I took over a sales territory for someone like 30 years older than me. And she was like, I just feel like you've got it. Her, and then um there was he's still a massive mentor of mine, and I tell him all the time. But he was like the first boss that was like, Mike, you know my personality. I'm like bubbly, but also intense. And I feel like I've always
No
tried to
doubt.
like,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've tried to be like the silly one or the really intense one. And he was like, he called me KK because that's like my family nickname, but he was like, be all those things, like
Right.
be it
Right.
all. And I think that people become really successful in whatever they do. And to me, success is defined by you're in a job that feels aligned, you sleep well at night, you're making an impact. But I feel like the people that are the most successful, in my opinion, are so authentic to themselves. And he was the first person that was like, be your damn self. And I just feel really
Gotcha.
grateful for that.
Yeah.
I,
Wait, and not just because you said this is a question that what is one thing, right? Again, not to derail, but we'll circle back. What's one thing that at least that you think that young talented people have misunderstood about success?
I mean, this
And
is
then and
not a,
then real quick, and then again, give me because like success for everyone could be defined as something totally different. What's your definition of success?
Yeah, I mean, I love this question. And I'm going to try to answer it succinctly. I think society has set an incredibly unrealistic, potentially unfulfilling, and a not one size fits all definition of success. So I think that most people holistically, not just for your career, but success is you get married young, you have children, you buy a home, and you have a job that makes you X money. I don't think people take the time to actually understand what makes them happy. So I think, like, that's my broad stroke answer. I do
Right,
think that often people think that success means, well, I'll say it again, success means money, a home, a significant other, and a title.
right,
And I just fundamentally disagree with that. Do I think money can make things easier? 100%. Like, do I think a significant other can make life more fulfilling? 900%. Does a roof over your head provide stability? Yes, right? But I think that we have done as a society kind of a poor job of like, this is what success means. And, I think for me, Mike, it's like, I think advice to younger generations, it's like, take a step back. What actually makes you happy? Is it freedom,
right.
time freedom? Does money really matter to you? Then that's also okay. Like, I just think that so many people follow what they think Instagram, movies, your parents have told you what success looks like. And Mike, by the way, I'm in my mid 30s, not married yet. I live in I feel very lucky for where I live, but I don't own a home. I don't have kids yet.
Right.
And by society terms, right, I am late to some of that. But for me, Mike, what I think success looks like, it's living an incredibly authentic life, right? Like
Right.
doing the things that actually matter to you. For me, having the ability to travel when I want feels really fulfilling. For me, success is someone that is bold enough to take chances on themselves. Like
Right.
starting a podcast and kind of being really vulnerable and crying on camera and, having my family, friends, people from high school see that. That was scary as hell,
That's
but I did it.
hell yeah, hell yeah. But also, I'm gonna say pause, right? Because I don't want. I still want to circle back to one question, and
Yeah.
but that's where I'm headed. Yes, I want to talk about the podcast. Um, so the next question that I want to circle back to is right. I don't know if you are mentoring someone, right? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But what's one piece of advice that you like and that you would like to pass on to your mentor that you would think that would be helpful? Maybe it's something that you made up by yourself. Maybe it's something that someone passed on to you. So what's that one piece of advice as a mentor that you would give?
Yeah. I mean, um, I had a hard time thinking about. I mean, I'm gonna give you my gut answer that came up when
Yeah,
I
come
said it
on, let's
earlier.
go.
But like, to me, the biggest piece of advice for no matter what you do in life is, this is so cheesy and kind of woo woo, but like fall in love with yourself. Because then,
Right,
Mike, then I think you attract what is the actual job for you. Then you
right,
get to define what success looks like. But like, to me, the biggest piece, and I say this all the time for people at work, it's like, I think specifically in a work environment, right? So and so pisses you off, work stresses you out, you don't have time for yourself. To me, the root cause of that is you're not in love with yourself, right?
right.
Other people shouldn't bother you that much. Work shouldn't be that stressful. You don't make time for yourself because you don't love yourself. You can't set the boundaries. So it sounds kind of like intense too, but it's like feel or fall so deeply in love with yourself, right? And again, Mike, society says go fall in love with a partner, go fall in love with
Yeah,
a
yeah,
job, go fall in love with a lifestyle. Screw all of that. Go figure yourself out, go fall in love with yourself. And you know why I like the marathon training? Holy shit, do I spend a lot of time with myself, you
yeah, no
know?
doubt, right? Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, okay, these are parts of myself I don't love. These are parts of myself that I am so fired up by. But like, to anyone I mentor, and I've never said it that way, but like, go fall in love with yourself. And to me, I think things really cool unfold from that perspective.
Yeah, that's good. That's a beautiful piece of advice. And like again, having known you for so long, right? And having trained with you for so long, I can tell you, like, you're someone who's full of love, right? Like every morning when I see you, like, Kaylee, like we're either punching each other, like love punches, or hugging each other, like high five,
Love
or look at
punches.
this, look at that, whatever, right? Like I feel your love, and I'm sure you feel the same way about me. That's a dope,
100%.
beautiful answer. That's not cheesy at all. So
But
then,
Mike, I will pause there though.
okay,
I
go
will
ahead.
pause. I think it's really hard to give love to others if you can't give it to yourself first. So again, why I feel like that advice matters so much. I think it's really hard to give other people love and to be that light if you don't. And Mike, by the way, I have moments of like where I'm really hard on myself or that self love isn't given within. But again, I think that's why it's so important.
Yeah, no, no, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. So now that was a great answer. Let's circle back to the question that you were tiptoeing around right before we got into this question, right? And why I wanted to do this little podcast with you, right? Because like, I mean, you know what the funny thing is? It's crazy how long, because I've been doing this now for like about a year or 2 years or something, and then
Yeah.
you too. It's crazy that it took forever for this to happen, but
Oh yeah.
also I'm thankful for because like you have such a professional setup, right? Like I'll show everybody. Like I'm here in my in my bedroom and stuff, right? Like in
Mike,
the
I
little
think your
corner.
setup is perfect.
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But that's what I love about like the Substack thing. Like, I mean, I've done episodes of this podcast from my car and then I
Totally.
had another guy who was like in the street like eating a hot dog and stuff. It's so fun, you can just do it on the go, right?
Totally.
But tell me about your journey and how did you get started with your podcast, because this is why I wanted you. I was like, well, I want this girl who has an amazing podcast. I love watching her stuff, so like, hi. Tell me about it.
All right. Well, I am going to give a shout out to our friend Gary Stark Jr. Because
Oh,
he's
Gary
actually
Stark.
he's a part of the story. But
Okay,
um,
all right, yeah, yeah.
so Mike, I love telling this story, and I'll try to make it like somewhat succinct. But I, I mean, I am my dad's daughter. I am like a psycho about setting goals for the year. Like they're like 10 pages long. It's like insane. But anyways, I, for like 7 years, had written down I want to start a podcast. And like,
Okay.
what podcasts I think have been around what for like 12 years now. I was like an early adopter. Like, I just was like, how interesting. Like, and I like reading, but like, I don't love it. Like,
Okay.
I get ADD and like I love that I can listen to if any of my family sees this they're going to die, but I love that I can be on a pod I can listen to a podcast and I can send a text, I can get on
Sure.
IG.
I'm the
Like
same way.
I think it's the ADD in me, but like to sit down and read a book I'm like, "Eh." But anyways, was just obsessed with podcasts early on, but something that
What
I
number are you up to right now?
I think like 60.
Wow, you go. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, I will never forget this guy that I fell in love with. His name was Ed Milet. Um, I really liked his stuff, but I honestly found it to be a little out of touch. He was like a multi-pro. I think he was a billionaire at that point, only interviewing like celebrities and like that's so cool, right? Because I think a lot of celebrities have cool stories, but
Sure.
I remember being like, "Where's a podcast for like normal people?" Like I don't I don't have that kind of wealth. I don't know anyone with that kind of wealth. Like, are there just people that just like have really cool normal jobs and have a cool story? So I kept writing down, I really want to start a podcast. I really want to start a podcast. I really want to start a podcast. So I had just completed Haymakers. This is like a little bit of a vulnerable comment, but I was freezing my eggs at the time to set
Mhm.
myself up. And I remember I was walking on the East River going up to like the UN to this like meditation class. And I was freezing my eggs and I was in like a very spiritual, like it's really intense doing that and the why I chose to do it anyways. Um, I started voice noting in like the voice app on my phone. And Mike, I literally start saying, "Welcome to that one thing with Kayleen." I basically did a bit for 90 seconds of what I would want my podcast to be about. It was
Right.
crazy, crazy shit. Then I go to this meditation. The teacher at the class was like, he pulled me aside and he was like, "What's your story?" And I was like, "What?" he was like, I feel like you're here to like lead people and make an impact. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Fast forward 10 minutes later, I get a call from Gary and he's like, Kayleen, I'm interviewing old Haymakers people. Can you come to the studio tonight? And I was like, this is weird. Like, Mike, it was in a span of an hour. I'm like, and I
Right.
think, you know,
No, the
I've
world
lived,
was talking to you. You manifested that shit, man. You brought it into like
yeah.
into fruition. Yeah.
Well, I think you know, I'm a person of faith, and I was like, this is not by chance. So, anyways, I actually I texted Ashley, who you know, who did Haymakers last year,
Right.
one of my
Right.
best friends. I text Ash, and I'm like, Ashley, this is so freaking weird. Like, you know, I've been talking about this. Gary just called me, and I almost said no because I was like, this feels like, and you know how Gary is. I'm like, is this actually going to happen? And anyways, it did. And so I
I
go to the
remember now. I remember.
but I
Yeah.
go to the studio and I record Gary's podcast. And at the end, he was like, Kayleen, if you had a podcast, what would it be about? And I'm like, what is going on? The guy that runs the studio where I record today was like, just by the way, he was like, I really like what you want to talk about. And he was like, I've been doing this long enough. He's like, you have like kind of a good voice that I think people would want to listen to. Anyways, the rest is history. And I think Mike, the like lessons here one, like I deeply believe if you have a dream to do something that is not by chance. Like
Right. Right.
you
Right.
like again, if you believe in God, universe, signs, I don't think that that shit is by chance. You are
Right.
something, a dream is placed on your heart for a reason. I think the other thing, it's like, just say yes to things. Like when Gary called me, I'm like, I don't like, is this gonna and actually it was really fun. His dad was there. It was like awesome. But
Yeah. 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 Those two, whenever
anyways,
they get together, it's a riot.
it was insane. I'm like, are y'all
Yeah.
here to interview me or are we just here to laugh? It was amazing though. But anyways,
Right.
Mike, that is like this story. Like it was a dream that had been on my heart. I said yes to Gary. And I think Mike, obviously you and I talk about this a lot. Like I just have not given up. I've been really
Right.
consistent. And I think also you know this because you're doing it. These conversations, you end up learning from the person you interview. Like it's now
Oh
it's kind
man,
of
100%.
but now it's
I
become
feel selfish
selfish.
because like I feel like that I'm learning more from you than you are from me. You know,
Mike,
I'm sure you feel the same way and stuff, but this free flow, this trade of information, like we're both growing right now, right? And it might not hit us right now, like in the moment or whatever, but like you might be in a meeting with something with someone tomorrow or a couple days from now, and then something that I said sparks a little memory of oh, and you know what kind of answer or where in the neighborhood of that answer you want to direct your flow, your conversation, right? Because like life is like that. You said it. And then
100%.
one of my next questions was right was like in a podcast, whether you were being interviewed or you were interviewing someone, has anyone ever given you an answer or a question that has changed just your whole thought process or like life process? What and what was that answer or question?
I mean, yes, times a thousand. I'm actually going to give another Gotham person a shout out, Ben Sharp.
Ben.
Um,
Oh, I love Ben. I was just
he's the
messing with him
best.
yesterday morning. All right, I'm gonna send him
He's the best.
this.
Yeah.
Ben's the
Um,
best. I
he
love Ben.
he knows this because I told him this last week in the gym. He went on a silent retreat. I feel like he told a lot of people
Oh, he
this, but
told everybody he would for a silent retreat. He wouldn't shut up.
it's amazing. That's really funny. But I have to give him credit for like a lot of the reason I'm doing the marathon. So
Yeah,
on this, and I've had other friends do silent retreats, and this is like a very common, like I think thing that people take. But um, he basically was like, Kayleen, you could go run a marathon tomorrow. Like people
right,
don't understand the power of the brain and how self-limiting. I'm not saying it as articulate as he did, but that left me like kind of shocked. Um, I also had a podcast recently that basically he's a 6'5" ballerina from France.
right.
And he was like, people told me I couldn't be a ballerina as a 6'5" man. And
Right.
he made this comment. He was like, with enough conviction, you can change the way people see the world. So basically, he was like, there's so many examples of this, right? Like, you're too tall to do X. Like, anyways, he was just like, with enough conviction, you can change the way people relate to society, what they think normal looks like. And yeah, I mean, I feel like those were two of the bigger ones. I mean, I feel like my podcast, to your point, Mike, it is now a very selfish feat. Like, I like,
Right.
and not for the views, the likes. Like, I don't even look at that stuff anymore. But I'm like, I leave and I can't do like
You
dinner.
leave
I can't.
full, right? You leave full. You leave like joyful. You
Mike,
leave. It's weird, right? Because like you leave full, but you also leave lighter, right? You
100%.
I get it. I get it.
But I
I'm the
leave
same way.
sometimes. But sometimes I leave like tired, like I can't see anyone after because I'm like, that like rocked, like not necessarily rocked me, but I'm like, oh my God. I just, to your point, I feel lighter, I feel fulfilled, I feel enlightened. And sometimes it's just a lot
I
in the
got no.
best way.
I get you. I get you. What's a failure that you're most grateful for?
Oh man. I would probably say like deeply failed relationships.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I've had a few that I stayed in too long and tried to make them work. And obviously, this feels super vulnerable to share, but there was one that I held on to way too long, and it really kind of rocked me. And I don't think I would not be the woman I am today without that. And
Okay.
I think
Fair.
I don't think people should sleep on heartbreak. I think sometimes it's sneaky. I think that people tell you you can get over it. I don't think heartbreak is linear, but I think
I
yeah, I
love
mean
that line. Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
not.
so
And
true.
yeah, I feel like failed relationships, even failed friendships, like, but I
Sure.
feel like, I've obviously failed in my career and in athletics, but again, this feels very vulnerable to share. I feel like my biggest lessons and proudest failure moments are like relationships I tried to hang on for too long.
Right. Yeah, and I think that thank you for sharing and for being v- v- vulnerable and truthful, right? But I think that like it's a lot more common than we think it is, right? Like a lot of people just act like it's not happening to them, but like I think it's happened to most of people in society and stuff. But I think that a person such as yourself, like you're extra lucky to have learned from it. Like me too. I think like some of the greatest failures in my life have been some of my greatest learning experiences in my life. And I totally I 100% think if it wasn't for all of the failures that I've had in my life, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Right?
100%. And
Uh-huh.
I was just going to say, Mike, I also think that when you can look at your life holistically and say, to your point, and I've obviously read a lot of your story, it's like you wouldn't, I don't think you'd be the man you were without all that you've been through, right? And I
Right.
think now, I said this to someone recently, now when something hard comes, when something feels like it's going to end, when, like, I even think about changing jobs, and there was a lot of comments on like it not being a smart decision, me leaving a very comfortable job to do something a little riskier. But like for me now, it's like if I do fail, and you kind of said this earlier, it's like I'm like, well, great, there's a lesson. Like it's not gonna hurt, right? Like
Right.
if my job doesn't work out or the next person I open my heart to and it fails miserably, like human nature says that that will still hurt, right? But
Yeah.
I think that now my approach to failure, hard things is like, well, I know I'm going to at least learn and grow from this, and I would rather be growing than not.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, no, no. I'm the same way. I would rather be growing rather than not, right? Like I would hate to be stagnant, right? No, like nothing grows when it's stagnant, you know? So, all right, listen, I know you said you didn't want to go past the time that you didn't want. So let's finish this with a rapid fire
Let's
session,
do
right?
it.
Um and since we are on Substack, which is about reading and writing, right? Who was your favorite author growing up or in college or even now? And I know you say you're not a reader, like you like to you're an audio person, but just rapid fire. What are you reading right now? Listening
Oh my
to?
God. I just read Freak. Wait, I'm gonna take you with me. Mike, you know
Okay.
what? I say I'm not a reader, but I do have a color coordinated. I
I
do
love
like
that.
this.
That's so dope.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna do this live because this is fun. I'm obsessed with
We'll do
Brene
it
Brown.
live.
Brene Brown, I've been obsessed with for years. I actually read
Okay.
a lot of her books. I think John Gordon for Positivity, one of the best. Um, and where's the book I just read? This is gonna bother me. Give me one second. It was an incredible book. It's called The Rocking Chair Prophet by actually a Christian author, Matthew Kelly. Um, but yeah, I would say John Gordon and Brene Brown, for like what matters to me and things that I like thinking about. Mike, those are them.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Question two. What do you write about when you write? Are you a journaler? I mean, you said you like to make lists and plans and stuff like that. Like, I have never in my life made a list or a plan. Like, I've always been a very memoirish, autobiographical writer. Like, but I've never in my life. Maybe I should make a plan. I've never in my life made a plan. But what do you write about? What makes you happy?
I mean, I do love a to-do list. I love a goals list. But I do journal a lot. Um,
Okay.
and I'm pretty consistent with like a gratitude journal. I think writing down what you're grateful for is amazing. But Mike, I do think like I'm pretty active on LinkedIn with my job.
Yeah.
I love being pretty vulnerable now around things I've seen or read or watched that have impacted me. Like um I feel like a lot of my style specifically on LinkedIn or Instagram is like advice that I wish I knew that I now share with people.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Mike, you know this when you prep for podcasts. I mean, I do feel like I'm writing more, and especially when I
Yeah. One
reflect
hundred
on.
percent. Yeah.
But even when I think a big form of my writing right now is when I'm recapping an episode and uploading it to Spotify. Like I have to recap what I learned, you know. So
Right. One hundred
yeah,
percent. All right. Are you ready? I'm gonna hit you, and I'm gonna hit you hard.
geez,
Ready? When's your book coming out?
oh my god. You know
I'm
what's
planting the
crazy?
seed. I'm planting the
Yeah.
seed.
Well, you know
Tell
what's
me
been
about
on
your
my
next book.
my list right now actually. Um, and I know this isn't well. This is there's writing involved. My biggest goal actually in the next 2 years is to have a TED talk.
Okay,
Um,
that's amazing. That's dope. Yes.
talk
Yeah.
about something I write. I write that down probably once a month. That is a goal of mine.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. And that's beautiful. That's a real goal and a real achievable goal.
Yep.
Hell yeah. I love that for you. Wow. Oh my God. That yeah, you blew my mind with that one right now. I love that. I love that. All right, so let's wrap it up. Kayleen, of course I'm going to post everything. And like I said, it's gonna post on your page and my page simultaneously and stuff. But so like I can tag it when I put the links and stuff. Tell the people watching, and thank you to the listeners out there. Hello. Tell them where they can find your podcast. Like you say, you can find it on Spotify, right? I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. And do you have like a Kayleen Duffy website? Like, and
I
I'll put it
don't.
all in the link.
Yeah, I don't have a website right now. The best place to find me is on Instagram and TikTok, and then that one thing podcast on anywhere a
On all
podcast
the
is.
major platforms, right? I'll
Correct.
put the tag on. Oh my god! All right, Kayleen, thank you so much. This was so fun, and like, I mean, like, I do know you, but I feel like I've learned so much
Oh,
about you now, right? And I can't wait to see you in the gym tomorrow or Saturday or whatever, and we'll say hi and we'll hug and we'll punch each other and stuff. But thank you so much for coming on such a short notice because, like, when did I tell you about
This
this?
was a
Monday?
blast.
Yeah, this was fun, right? It's just
It
like,
was a blast.
just like training for a run or training for a session or whatever, right? Like just to keep the mind and the heart sharp,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike,
that's all.
I'm honored. This was amazing. You're good at what you
Yeah.
do. And I love how much you keep stretching yourself. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah, yo, me too. All right. Mwah. We'll talk soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Bye.
Later.